Hey, what's going on everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to do a build update on the Ultra4 car, as well as we've reached 1,000 subscribers, so that means we're going to do our first giveaway. Alright, so here it is. Here's the current build update. We've got the majority of the cab and the whole front end done. We've got more lacing tube that we'll be getting in here along with the shock mounts once we get the A-arms done. They are currently in production with Innovative Machine Solutions. As you can see, we do have the seat mounted and our interior is coming together too. We've got our NRG steering wheel all mounted up. And we've got this, actually, we went ahead and beefed up a uniball here. Focus. Went ahead and beefed up a uniball here, and then on this side we pressed in a bearing so that this is nice and smooth. So this should make sure there's no binding in the wheel at all. And then we put a universal joint here on the end of the shaft, and this will come out here to our servo, which will go down to the rack. So we've got a lot of the top done. Last time you saw we were working on the back, but at this point the majority of the cab is done. Got all the tubes coming in, the secondary support for the B pillar. This cage is going to be extremely strong. We've got our T-case in from Behemoth Drivetrain. This is their billet MP205, and it is set up for twin stick shifters, so you can have independent control of the front and the rear outputs. As you can see, it's clocked up a little higher than usual to fit the chassis. But everything will be lubed. We're going to add a quart of oil extra, and we're going to move the fill and breather plugs up to the top of the case here so we can make sure we get full capacity. As you can see, we did go ahead and start mocking up the shifters. We've got the transmission shifter with lockout in, so that can be locked. This can lock out park or it can lock out reverse depending on where you put the pin. In our case, we'll probably leave it for park. That way, if you're crawling, you can always slam it forward and get right into reverse to be able to pull you back. And then we've got our tranny shifters mocked up. These will go from a cable down and they'll come over to the T-case here. So we have our front input output and rear input output. Getting ready to start making the mount for the tranny. We're actually going to have both a mount on this side and this side, in addition to the tranny mount that'll be on the adapter itself. We are using 1480 joints. We got these big flanges from Northern Drivetrain, and those are going to work great. But as a whole, it's coming together really well. Got a few more pieces we're waiting on the front end, but for now we're going to be working on the pedals, some of the lacing tubing, and we're actually going to start mocking up the rear end. We got our rear axle in. Alright, so this beast here, this is kind of a hybrid axle. I actually got this from Jordan Townsend. It is a high pinion Dana 60, but because it's engines in the back, it's a reverse drive line, the axle is actually flipped. The benefit, as we mentioned before, is it runs on the drive side of the gears, making it an extremely strong axle. The link mounts and everything are already ready to go, and we should be able to use the same geometry. This does use a custom bearing pocket, and we're actually looking at having these produced to bring to market. It's a bearing pocket for the 05 and up Super Duty bearing. It's a very big bearing, as you can see there, and we feel it's going to be really strong, so we're going to stick with that. We are going to stick with the 8on170 bolt pattern, so we don't have to re-drill our hubs. We can basically use an off-the-shelf hub. So like I said, it's already got the upper link mounts. We'll probably use a new brake line on it, all AN fittings, but we'll see. Actually, he's already got the AN fittings, so maybe good to go. And then the shafts are 4340/40 spline, and they are gun drilled. These things are actually super light. Actually, almost see all the way down in there. But the gun drilling, it makes them a lot lighter. Alright, tonight we're going to be working on the Hydroboost brake setup. We got this from Wide Open Design. It uses a fairly typical master cylinder, and then you have your Hydroboost unit. And this all then works with a Willwood pedal. We're using the Hydroboost because it's been gaining a lot of popularity in the bouncer world, as well as a few other forms of motorsports that have started adopting it. The power adder comes from the power steering system. You actually tie into it, and because we're using a very good pump, we'll be able to utilize that pressure to enhance our braking ability. This means that the pedal is going to be a little bit different than a standard manual brake system, but we're almost guaranteed to lock up the brakes and have maximum braking effort. That combined with our innovative machine solutions calipers and our giant vented Willwood rotors, and we're going to have a really good brake system. As we mentioned, we're using a really good power steering pump. And this pump is from Scott Tremarco at Scott's Off-Road. We also got in our Holley Dominator pump. That is a dual pump. We got in our Jamar throttle accelerator pedal. What else? Oh, we got our oil cooler. We're going to be running a fairly decent sized oil cooler. That'll have a fan on it as well. We want to make sure the oil stays cool. It's a 30 row, I believe. Then for the transmission, we went with a very large CBR dual pass cooler. This is actually a 12-inch fan, and this is commonly what guys are running on trophy trucks. We're going to start with one. We'll see how it does. If we need additional cooling, we may add a second one, but I'm pretty confident this guy's going to do the trick for us. I've heard a lot of good things about CBR and the desert racing side of things, so we're using a CBR radiator, a CBR tranny cooler, as well as the I think it's the overflow bottle, the reservoir bottle. The way we're setting everything up, it's going to have multiple inputs and outputs on it. As mentioned, we got our energy belt in. They actually sent us two, so we have a spare. And this here is our torque converter from Florida Torque Converter. It's a billet, 5-disc, anti-ballooning. You name it, it's done to it. This is a very high-end torque converter, and it's built to take all the power we're going to throw at it, especially since we'll be using two of those. That's a Torque Storm supercharger, and we're super excited about our kits come in. This is actually a kit that's going on the rock bouncer, but on the buggy, we're going to have two of those mounted on each side, and we should be producing around 20 pounds of boost. All right here we've got our fuel cell. We're using an RCI teardrop fuel cell. It's got a beveled back, so we'll be able to put it in the back of the car and have a good departure angle. As a whole, everything's been moving really quickly. We've got a lot of stuff in production right now. As a matter of fact, we should have all our bumps and shocks done and probably get those assembled here in the next day or so. Our trailing arms, our A-arms, our hubs, they're all billet. And so they're coming from Innovative Machine Solutions. And those are in their final designs, and then they'll be cut. So we're actually gonna probably have those in the next couple weeks as well. And then one last piece to the puzzle we got in. We went with a window net. Let's see if we can see that. From 50 Designs. I want to say that I sent her the measurements on a Wednesday, I think it was, and we had the window net in our hands the next Wednesday. A week turnaround time from first contact to delivery. All right, yeah, check this out. So this thing fits great. We gave her the design measurements, and it is beautiful. Angles, everything. So all we got to do is make our bars, tabs. We're going to order up a latch from CarTech, and yeah, this thing should be done. All right, so that's our build update. You've seen some of the parts that have come in now. This thing's going together really quick. We're actually anticipating to have it a full roller within 30 days. So we're moving really fast, and we're really excited. It's coming together very well. So with that, I'm gonna get changed and get to work here, get this Hydroboost set up. But I just want to say thank you. We've hit 1,000 subscribers. That's our first step that we wanted to get to. And as promised, every 500 subscribers, we're going to do a contest. So let's see who won. All right, so the winner of our first giveaway for hitting 1,000 subscribers is, I already forgot his name. Justin Williams, you are the winner. We took all our subscribers and those that entered on Facebook as well, and we put them in a random name generator, and you are the winner. So this giveaway, we are giving away a set of our Virgo pods. You can get those in either flush mount or regular. So make sure you contact us. You can email us at Daniel, D-A-N-I-E-L, at olympusoffroad.com, or you can call us at 1-855-5-OLYMPUS. Make sure you contact us to get your prize. We'll get those in the mail for you right away. Thank you for subscribing. All right, so tonight we're working on the Hydroboost. So we've got all our parts laid out. We're gonna go through them, get everything set up, and mock it up in the car. Okay, wow, this thing's really big. So now I've got to figure out placement here, where everything's going. Actually need to get up inside here, and I've tested everything out, but I need to check my foot placement on everything. I almost want it to hit right there. Okay, so now we've got a idea where we want our pedals to hit. So right about there. Jordan's pedals are way up here. He has longer legs than I do. Okay, not gonna lie, this guy's heavy. So realistically, we can tap that guy right on front there. So, I think I'm gonna pull the master cylinder off and tack this up in there, and then we can figure out the rest after that. Because we know our space right here, we have plenty of space. Yeah, we have plenty of space here. The shock mount's going to be directly under the tube, and the bypass mount will be out about 3 inches. So that's not a problem. So really at this point, it's just a matter of what else we put up in here, which everything up here can move wherever it needs to go. So I think it's better to position the brake pedal, which needs to be in a specific position first, and then we can mount everything else around it. All right, so we've got the Hydroboost mounted. We tried a couple different places, got in the car, felt it out, and we determined this is where we want it. So we tacked it in place, and one thing we noticed is there's a lot of weight out here, and while this is probably plenty strong, we want to make sure that this is supported, especially all the bouncing through the whoops, rocks, everything this car is going to be doing. We want to make sure it's supported. So 2 brackets we're adding. It came with these brackets here, normally to hang it with, but we had to go right to the main bracket itself instead of hanging it with these. So what we're going to do is flip them, or actually no, that way, and we're going to trim them, and they're going to fit right here. And what this will do is, primarily when you push the pedal, it'll keep this from pushing up and putting all the stress here. It'll spread the load a little bit. And then second, I'm going to cut out a tab on the plasma table to, let's move you over here so you can see this. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to make a tab that goes from this bolt on the master cylinder to the tube, so it'll have an additional hanging point here. Once we have the tab on the front up here holding this side and have these tabs on here, this is going to be a very solid setup. I'm going to go cut a tab on the plasma table, clean it up, and I'll be right back. All right, so we've got the bracket tacked on, we've got the upper brackets tacked on, and this thing is solid as a rock. Check this out. All right, so as you can see, we got the bracket tacked there. We got the upper brackets tacked on there, and this whole thing, I mean, this is strong. Once this is fully welded, that's not going anywhere. So that is set up pretty well. The only thing we ran into a little bit was this is a little snug. It's definitely tight, but not a problem. It's enough that we can get it off. And then we have our lines here, but the hood line will be coming up a little bit, so it'll cover that. And yeah, I'm very happy with how it turned out. It's definitely a big unit, but the braking ability it provides is second to none. You know, we wanted good brakes. This car is going to be fast, and you know, one step to good brakes is having a power adder, and we're real happy with it. All right, so that's going to be the end of it for this video. As you saw, we got the Hydroboost mounted up. Really happy with how that turned out. It's nice and solid. Going to have awesome brakes. Gave you an update on where the car's at, and a little bit of an overview with what's going on with everything and where it's at. Like I said, we're expecting to have this thing as a full roller by the end of August, and if all goes well, we'll probably be driving by the end of September, beginning of October, and getting this thing tuned and dialed in so that it's perfect for SEMA, and then we'll go out to Johnson Valley and do a lot of testing. If you're not a subscriber, make sure you're a subscriber. As you saw, we announced the winner for us hitting 1,000 subscribers. Every time we grow by 500 subscribers, we're going to do a drawing and a giveaway. So the next one will be at 1,500 subscribers. So if you're not a subscriber, make sure you get subscribed. But with that, make sure you like the video, comment down below with what you see, anything you want to see from us, and make sure you hit the bell for notifications. We'll see you next time.